The Geek Speak show is produced and distributed by 22 Creations Multimedia, LLC.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe.
Welcome to one of the longest-running geek culture talk shows. Welcome to the Geek Speak show with Henry San Miguel and the nerdy Navajo Sean Klenn. And introducing Emily Mata. The Geek Speak show has been speaking geek since 2010. This is the Geek Speak show.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Geek Speak show, and also let me start by saying Happy New Year, wishing you all a Happy New Year. Why am I saying that? Yes, I know, that was over a month ago, but I've always said that for me, the New Year doesn't really start until after the Super Bowl, which was a couple of days ago. So, having said that, Happy New Year to you. Now we can officially start the Doomsday Clock, and the Doomsday Clock is going to be ticking until December 18th of this year. If you know, you know. Speaking of you know, I do know. Let me start with this. I know that a lot of you could care less about the Super Bowl. I mean, yeah, you say you watched it for the commercials, for the trailers. Well, wasn't that you didn't get the ones you were expecting. Let's put it that way. But you know what? I don't believe that statement anymore. I don't believe that you don't care about the Super Bowl. I think the last time that was true, that would have been true, was probably in 1998, maybe 99, but definitely back in 1998. That would have been true. Not 21st century geeks and nerds. Well, except maybe the ones that hate everything and think everything is woke, and you think that movies and shows suck because they didn't go the way that I imagined because I was looking for character and story development. Not you. You guys hate everything, so you definitely don't care about the Super Bowl because you don't care about anything else. And let me go on a little tangent real quick. Let me speak to you guys in particular because I know you listen. That way of viewing, of thinking, looking at the world, honestly, that's like a tire spinning in mud. You're not going anywhere and you're spewing a lot of shit all over the place, thinking that you are making progress, that you are making some great points. Spoiler alert, you're not. That's why you need help to get out of that slimy mud hole. I know. Sorry, Yoda. I know your home that is, but you all know what I mean. No, but what I'm talking about is, I'm not talking to those people. I'm talking to everybody else. The stereotype with us geeks and nerds is that we're not into sports, not just the Super Bowl, but just sports in general. Mainly because, well, we're not very athletic ourselves. Now, in this episode, I'm going to prove that that's an outdated stereotype. Like I said, this is the 21st century. And us geeks and nerds, we are athletic, competitively athletic. You know, some of those athletes that you just watched win a Super Bowl last Sunday, a lot of them are geeks and nerds. Bet you didn't know that, huh? Bet you also didn't know this. We geeks, we have our own sport. It's a sport that requires discipline, speed, agility, power, and strategy. No, not D&D, not video games. No, I mean a real sport, something that you physically do yourself. What is that sport, you may be asking? I know you are. Well, here's a hint. Now you're going to hear exactly what I'm talking about, although you can probably guess in a moment.
You've heard the nerdy side of Sean Klenn. Are you brave enough for the spooky side of him? If you are, there are two chances for you to experience the other side. On Friday, April 17th, join Sean Klenn at the historic, iconic, and haunted RMS Queen Mary in Long Beach. If you need more time to gather your courage, you have until Friday, June 12th at the USS Hornet in Alameda. Both events start with a meet and greet with Sean Klenn and conclude with investigations of both historic ships led by Sean Klenn. Tickets are on sale now and include a complimentary Sean Klenn Shadow Productions t-shirt, a Warriors of Shadow sticker, and a signed event poster. This investigation is limited to only 30 participants, so get your tickets today. Take advantage of the early bird special. The first 10 tickets sold will get $75 off the regular price. That's only for the first 10. The other 20 of you will have to pay the regular price once the first 10 tickets are sold. In other words, visit the Sean Clenn Shadow Lodge channel on YouTube for the links. And get ready to experience the haunted side of the RMS Queen Mary and the USS Hornet.
Now back to the Geek Speak show. Here's Henry San Miguel.
And we are back on the Geek Speak show. Last year, as we were exploring the exhibit floor at WonderCon Anaheim, we met the team from Lightspeed Saber Academy, where folks engage in fencing matches with lightsabers. That's why they were at WonderCon. But really, no, it's lightsabers. Now, a few days ago, I saw a post from director Matthew Wiatt announcing a new documentary called Saber. Now, while it does feature lightsaber fencing, the documentary, honestly, the real focus on the on the community and the chosen family formed by the members of the Saber Legion as they prepare for the Saber Legion World Championships. And yes, there's fencing with lightsabers too in it. Matt joins me now to talk about it. Welcome to the show, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, Henry.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. And I will say we're not going to spoil anything, although I think all of you know Death Star blows up and all of that. But let me start with, were you yourself, were you a member of the Saber Legion, or how did you learn about lightsaber fencing?
I was actually not a member of the Saber Legion. I knew nothing about it. I was on TikTok scrolling my phone, and I saw some guy talking about lightsabers that were made for actual combat, for fighting with, hitting really hard, not breaking. And I was like, what is this? So I started looking at it. I went on his profile and I sent him a DM like, hey, what is this stuff? And then I found out he lived an hour away from me, this person that was talking about lightsabers and stuff. And his name was Alec. And he invited me to go to, they were having a meetup in Orlando, which is like an hour away from my house. And they're like, hey, why don't you come check it out? So I went to the meet and saw these people in full armor, full protective gear with these lightsabers having matches. And it was amazing.
What made you want to make it? I mean, for us, for this audience, the answer is pretty obvious. But let me ask you anyway. What made you want to make a documentary about their journey to the World Championship?
Well, when I went to the meet, I was there just to see what it was. Like, is this something I'd want to do? Is this like a hobby I could take up? And I saw them, and I was there with my wife, who also helped co-write this film, and we were watching it, and we were like, there's more to this, because it wasn't just about fighting. It was about the community that they formed. And I was like, there is a story here. So I was like, I'm going to get to know these people and see if what the story is, and if they're open to having me follow them around with a camera for a while and see what happens.
Yeah, and when all of you get to watch the documentary, you're going to follow Alec, as you mentioned, and also Kat. And so was it always going to be about them, or why did you decide to focus on them specifically?
They live in Florida, where I live. That was one. They're close to where I live, semi-close. Kat is in South Florida, and Alec is in Central Florida, and I also live in Central Florida. But more than where their location was I got to talk to them and sort of pre-interview them, see who they were, see what they were like. And I was like, these people have amazing stories. I did a pre-interview with them and got their story of how they found the Saber Legion. And I was like, these people have an amazing story. This is something people can relate to and see. So let's get a camera out and follow them around for a while and see what happens.
I think they mentioned in the documentary, I don't recall, they obviously are Star Wars fans, because that's how else would they know about lightsabers. But we were talking right before we started recording, and we had it on the Geek Speak show a long time ago. But those of you that remember when Morgan Spurlock was still with us, first of all, and then when he also made the documentary about Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con, we all of us that go there on an annual basis, we want to watch it because, oh, cool, it's Comic-Con. Comic-Con is there, kind of like what yours is about. It's really more about the reason why we all go to Comic-Con. It's believe it or not, it's not because of Hall H, although that is cool, not because of the panels, the cosplay, all the stuff that encompasses San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, that's there. It's not really why we go. It's like I said, the community. David Glanzer, friend of mine from Comic-Con, we always call it our family reunion. We never say going to Comic-Con. We say we're going to our family reunion. That's something that your film, again, without giving nothing away, your film really captures perfectly. Yes, the lightsaber fencing is there. If you want to watch that, it's there. But it's really the community, and it makes you, at least me. I was telling you right before we started recording. I was telling you that once I started hearing Kat and Alex's story, those are people that I want to be friends with. Those are the kind of people that listen to this show, want to be friends. So great job capturing that. And that's them too. But you as a filmmaker, as you were making the film, what did you learn, not just about Kat and Alec, but about everybody that takes part in the fencing, in this fencing community? It's
a truly remarkable community. The Saber Legion, I mean, they're all across the world, actually. They have chapters everywhere. But like when we'd go to local meetups and things, we'd be filming and stuff, be like, hey, Matt, do you want to go out to dinner? We're going to grab food afterwards. Do you want to come with us? We were in Vegas and they had a family dinner and they invited us to come to it. Not necessarily to film, just to hang out and be friends with them.
Yeah.
And it was a very cool, it's an amazing community. And it's sort of, Kat puts it as it's her found family. And I think that's just such an amazing statement to say. And once you see the film and get to know Kat's story, it's truly remarkable how these people that you would never think would be friends just looking on the outside, but their common hobby together, and they just become great friends. And it's a pretty cool community.
Yeah, and again, I'm not going to get into specific plot points, but like you said, yes, there's a certain point when you're learning Kat's story that unfortunately a lot of us have gone through. You may know someone that has gone through what Kat is going to talk about, and it is beautiful, I'll put it that way, to see that something like lightsaber fencing. It just seems like, oh, cool, lightsaber fencing. But it's really a lifesaver. Turned out to be a lifesaver, literal lifesaver for Kat. You'll see why when you watch the movie. Alec, same thing. He just seems like he makes
is amazing.
Yeah, I was gonna say you just get tired just seeing what he does, or what I should say, what he doesn't do on a regular basis, and then by the way, he also fences on with lightsabers. Really, really cool guy. Again, someone that you would, like you said, want to spend, go get dinner, have a drink, whatever, talk about, geek out about stuff. So you captured that perfectly.
Thank you.
Now let me talk about you a little bit, the filmmaker.
Okay.
Like I said, this isn't your first time working around film, but this is your directorial debut.
Correct. This is my directorial debut for a feature film. So yeah, this is I work with my wife and my brother-in-law in a film production company in Florida. We do all types of production. We did a film a couple of years ago called Fly Like a Girl, which was about women in aviation. My wife directed that, and I was one of the producers on it and filmed and helped make that come to life. So yeah, this is the first film. I've been looking for a while to see what do I want to take on as a film? What's a story I would like to tell? And this one just sort of fell into my lap, and I found it and was like, this needs to be told. So that's sort of how it just happened, and we just made it happen.
Nah, I don't want to cross universes, but now that you've sat in the captain's chair, what did you learn about being the director that you didn't even think was a thing?
Yeah. I guess what I was really trying to do is I was learning about the sport, the community as I was doing that. So I also filmed the whole thing also. So I am the DP, audio engineer, director, everything all at once type of a low budget indie film. So as I'm doing this, I'm capturing and learning it also. I think the hardest part with it all was I had about 10 to 15 terabytes of footage. So just like any documentary or any big project, it was whittling down that into 90 minutes. That's the fun part of a fun/hard part of making a film. So that's like what gets cut out, what makes it. So that was the hardest part, but it was just more my goal in making it was trying to be a fly on the wall and capture what's happening as it unfolds.
When do you hope to have the film ready for the public?
We've just starting our festival run. And we're hoping through the summer and hopefully in the fall we'll see what happens. But yeah, right now we're focusing on film festivals, seeing where it goes from there. And hopefully in the fall we'll have a wide release. So we'll see. But yeah, we'll have all of our screenings and stuff on our website, so you can check that out.
I think they do it on streaming, but definitely this is something for. And you made me think of that when you said you had all these terabytes of film. I'm sure you cut a lot of it out. You know, this audience, we love bonus features.
Yeah.
Could we potentially see some of that?
Oh, there's definitely some. There's some. Alec in the film, he's actually a sabersmith, so he makes lightsabers for heavy dueling. So that's a hobby he does. We have a segment of that did not make the final cut, but that's definitely a bonus material right there of Alec talking about he's trying to make affordable sabers for people to do hard dueling with, because the sabers they use are very different than the ones you get at other places. They're made to take a beating because it's full contact with pads type of dueling, which is different than other types of like spinning or choreography. Like they're hitting hard.
Yeah. I was gonna say when you mentioned that, like there is a part in the beginning, at least in the screener you sent me. I don't know if the final one is different. He does show a sword that I'll say you Lord of the Rings fans, you will love that part. I'll leave it at that. So that's cool. That was actually pretty cool to see. So if you get to see more of that, definitely we want to see more of that.
Yes.
So you said it comes out at the Boston Sci-Fi Film Festival this Saturday, I think it is, right?
Yep. This Saturday at 1:00.
Yeah. So
if you're in Boston, check it out. BostonSci-Fi.com, I think, .org. Just Google Boston Sci-Fi, it'll pop up. Or you can go to saberdoc.com, which is our website, and we have a link to the tickets if you're in the Boston area.
Yeah, I have that linked up, but I'll find the where they can get tickets and link it up also in the show notes. But I was going to say, I know for all filmmakers, not just you, but filmmakers, you don't want to tell your audience what they should take out. But for you, I mean, this being your first also, what do you hope they do take out of this? Other than, cool, lightsaber fancy, but what do you hope that audiences take away from this film?
I think the biggest thing I want audiences to take out is that there's a community for you. You can find a community that can accept you the way you are, whether that's through lightsaber dueling, whether it's the 501st. There's so many different organizations out there and just groups. It could be a crochet group in your neighborhood. I just hope people can find that there's a group that they can belong to and not to change anything about themselves and just be themselves and find a community that they can be a part of.
Yeah, be authentically. You know, I was smiling when you're saying that because yeah, you're right. Yeah, everybody knows about the 501st, but at WonderCon last or a couple years ago, I think it's on our YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen it, we did an interview. There's a group for Sith. I mean, everybody, when you think lightsabers, you think I want to be a Jedi. I want to be like Luke Skywalker. But there's also the other side, the dark side, the ones with the cool sabers, as I always say. And there is it's called the Sith Empire. There's an entire group where they cosplay. They have their names, the lightsabers, all really cool. Same thing you see with Jedis, but so yeah, you're right. There is something for everyone at these conventions. And again, going back to the main focus of the documentary, yes, the lightsaber fencing that is there. Don't worry, you do get to see that. But it's like you said, it's a community that is from the family, the chosen family that is there. So really, really love that about this film. So for you, Matt, if you can talk, or if you even thought about it, have you thought about what you want to do next?
Oh, project-wise?
Yeah.
Like what we're working on? We're actually, first one was on women in aviation. Now we're doing lightsaber dueling. Next one is a historical true crime documentary. We have the rights to Devil in the Grove. It's a Pulitzer Prize winning novel, and Beneath the Ruthless Sun. And we're starting that. It's a historical true crime that takes place in Florida. And the book won the Pulitzer Prize, and we have the rights to. So that's their next project. Vastly different than the other two we've done.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a different world, but it's a deep dive for sure.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to know and follow where you guys go, give them websites, social media, everything where they can follow everything you guys do.
The easiest one, you can find me. It's at Wiatt, Wiatt. That's my handle on all social media platforms, and you can easily find me there. Indie Atlantic Films is the company we work for, and we have there'll be more news about our upcoming projects. And then for the Saber documentary, it's saberdoc.com, and you can find out when we'll be doing screenings across the United States this summer.
Yeah, I'll link everything up on the show notes and the show description for all of you. Just click on the names and it'll take you right there. That way you don't have to go searching for anything, because you never know where those names may take you. So again, this Saturday, 1 p.m. at the Somerville Theater. I actually have it in my notes over here. That's when, if you're in the Boston area, you can actually watch Saber. Everybody else, you're going to have to wait. I mean, we could say something, but we're going to treat it like a Marvel thing. Just keep going to those the websites, and you'll get some updates on where else you may see it. I'll tease it like this. It's something that I did mention at the top of this interview, and it's something that we all love going to. I'll leave it at that. Thanks, Matt, for coming on. Again, great job on it. Really, really love it, and can't wait for everybody else to see it.
Thank you so much.
I know for a fact, I may not know a lot of you personally, but I can guarantee, like me, at some point in your life, all of us, we've all fought with a lightsaber, whether with a toy one or a broomstick or some kind of stick or an electronic one, the new ones that make the sound and light up. But imagine actually fighting another opponent wielding a lightsaber and scoring points for each hit. Most of you listen to me, you're all based in Southern California like I am, so going to Florida or the Midwest or even Las Vegas for the championship, that might be out of the question, especially with prices being what they are today. But guess what? You don't have to leave California. There is another fencing academy, that is, and it's right by the actual home of the lightsabers, where you can build them. Disneyland. What'd you think I was talking about? No, Disneyland. Got your attention now, huh? I'm going to tell you all about that right after Sean Clenn tells you what's happening in geek culture.
Aho, young warriors. Get ready to receive the teachings. This is Nerdy Navajo News. Here's Sean Clenn.
Oh, yes, hey everybody. Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Sean Clenn here with the Navajo Nerdy News. Yes, welcome back to another week of geek culture. Now, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'll start out with news from DC Comics. Back in 2023, they had announced Paradise Lost, a TV series set on Themyscira long before Diana Prince ever picked up a sword. It was pitched as a political drama rooted in Amazonian history and inspired on Game of Thrones. Now, DC Studios is reportedly shelving that project entirely and shifting its priorities to finally rebooting Wonder Woman on the big screen. It's going to be pretty interesting. Now, next story I have for you. In a galaxy far, far away, you know it's going to be a good story when it starts out with that. Marvel Comics is either officially rewriting the sequels or, like many of us, just forgetting they even happened. I know that's how it is for me. They're pretty bad. But in the new Han Solo, The Hunt for the Falcon comic, it follows Han and Chewie as they track down their missing ship. They retrace everything Han tells Rey in The Force Awakens. It was stolen by the Ivory brothers, Duquesne, and Unkar Plot. Han even talks about Unkar Plot in the comic. Ultimately, and spoiler alert for those of you who may want to read this comic, Han realizes that if he continues on this path, it will get him and Chewie killed. So he walks away, which doesn't line up with what we see in Force Awakens. Now, like I said, maybe a rewrite of the sequels, or Marvel Comics just forgot about the sequels. I wonder which one it is. Now, finally, today, you've heard us say many times that we're all subscribed to 100 streaming services, right? Well, while yes, we're just exaggerating, we do have a lot of streaming services available. And here's another one. Wikiflix is a free community-powered streaming service created by volunteers from the Wikipedia ecosystem. Like Netflix, but offering public domain films and not powered by algorithms. You know what else it doesn't have? Ads and user accounts. That means there's no tracking, profiling, or behavioral data collection. Wikiflix has classics like Nosferatu, Trip to the Moon, It's a Wonderful Life, along with a deep well of international cinema. A new platform for you? Without ads or tracking? Not too sure how they're going to be able to get some really big name movies up there, but the international cinema has me curious. We'll have to see how it all turns out. But that's what I got for everybody here on the Geek Speak show for Navajo Nerdy News. Yes, you all stay safe out there, and I will see you guys next week. Hook on it!
Now that you have heard the stories, you may continue on your journey, the journey that is, listening to the rest of this Geek Speak show episode.
to the Geek Speak show. Here's Henry San Miguel.
And we are back. Remember a second ago, I said we came across the lightsaber fencing team at WonderCon Anaheim last year. Well, that was the Lightspeed Saber Academy. They're located in the Buena Park Mall in Buena Park. And joining me now is the owner and head coach, Cang Snow. Welcome, Cang. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Henry?
Doing fantastic. Thanks for coming on. So let's start at the beginning. When did you get the idea to start the academy?
Well, I got the idea to start the academy when we got kicked out of the park, actually. We already existed as a league for several years before opening an academy. But once we were forced to find some place to go, then it really was just out of necessity, and it became a strong business from there.
So the fencing with lightsabers, that was always a part of it, or when did you get the idea for that, the fence with lightsabers?
The idea of fencing with lightsabers was not mine originally. Actually, it actually came from some friends of mine from high school who, after The Force Awakens came out, they bought a bunch of combat-ready lightsabers, and I saw it on Facebook. And myself being a former trad fencer, someone who spent too much time thinking about it, honestly, I'd always been thinking about how to make it more fun to watch, because trad fencing is very difficult to watch for regular spectators. And when I saw them doing that, I just jumped right onto it. And they were kind enough to let me, work out some ideas and to make it better, a little bit more professional and safer. So it wasn't my idea originally, but it just became the solution for it became the answer to a question that I had for a long time.
And I'm assuming, but also a Star Wars fan, probably. I mean, that's where the lightsabers came in.
Myself, personally, I'm not necessarily the biggest Star Wars fan, but I am a lightsaber fan. Remember, I love fencing. I'm really fascinated by weapons, especially hand-to-hand melee type weapons. And the idea of a lightsaber is not precedented in history. And so I love the idea of exploring how a lightsaber would actually be used realistically in some type of fencing or combat. So I would say that I really do love lightsabers for what they are, more than just being a Star Wars fan.
So I mean, you're following all the rules of fencing. I'm assuming here. So how do you get the members to treat it like a serious fencing academy rather than just quote unquote we're just playing Star Wars?
Well, let me first say that we're not using the rules of fencing. This is its own independent sport. Again, I come from trad fencing, and trad fencing for many decades has had a spectator problem. It's just difficult to watch. It's difficult to understand. And for a sport that I really loved, I wanted to find a way to help it, And again, this lightsabers ended up being the answer to that question. And so it has its own set of rules designed to push forward my goals. And so to get people to take it seriously, that actually is also the answer to that question. It's not aping something else. If you use lightsabers and it's exactly like kendo or exactly like trad fencing, what purpose do people have to join this sport when it's exactly the same? They could just go do the regular sport, which has more money, more people, more prestige around it. So what gets people to jump in on this? That's a really good question. And the answer is that it has to stand on its own. It has to be unique. It can't just be a gimmick. So if you just do standard fencing with lightsabers, the lightsabers are a gimmick. They're just there to catch people's eye, but there's no value to it. So what we do is that we respect the lightsaber for what it is. We don't try to treat it as something else like a lot of people do. They try to use it like it's a traditional sword. It's not a sword at all. A sword has a handguard. This has no handguards. It has to be used differently. It's a lot deadlier than a sword would be, so you don't have to hit very hard. You have to be a lot more careful. And so we respect these aspects of the lightsaber. And so when people come to us, they take it seriously because it has its own set of skills and strategies. and it can't be replicated somewhere else.
Are all the members, are they required to compete in tournaments, or can they just be part of the academy without having to compete in the tournaments?
We definitely encourage people to join tournaments, especially when it is a sport for a fictional weapon. So it does not necessarily have real world application. And so we see tournaments as the real world application. So we definitely encourage people strongly to try to jump into tournaments. But we don't require anyone to do that. Of course, there's plenty of people who just want to fight, who just want to make friends. There's lots of people who just want to do forms and practice techniques too. So all those people are welcome, but competition is definitely our bread and butter.
Yeah, and I'll tell everybody listening to us, I do have the links to everything on the show description. When you see some of the videos, yeah, it is going to look cool. A lot of you are going to want to be, if you're here in the Southern California area, you're going to want to join. And some might even think, yeah, it looks fun, it looks cool, looks great, but I don't know if I'm in physical shape for fencing, not even with a lightsaber. So is it possible for somebody to join, to become part of the academy, even if they're not in the best physical shape?
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in the sports-wide applicability for people of a variety of ages, sizes, genders, and physical ability. We use a very special scoring system that I call the asymmetric scoring system, which emphasizes different skills. So you can earn between 1 and 5 points per hit when you land, and they're not based on what you hit; they're based on how you hit. And so, for example, if you're very nimble and agile and you score a clean hit, you can get 3 points for that. But if you're not as agile, but maybe you have better targeting and risk assessment and know how to take risks, and you have good footwork and explosive power, then you can go for a headshot, and that also get you 3 points. If you don't have good legs, and if you don't have particularly good agility though, but you have good technique and you have practiced your techniques well, then you can use counterattacks, which earn 5 points, which is the most points you can get for a single hit, because those are the hardest to pull off. Our scoring system is designed to emphasize all the different ways you could be skilled and still be able to tangle with other people.
Now, I know you just mentioned a second ago for all ages, but is there an age limit, or is that up to the members that could potentially join?
Yeah, you caught me on that one. Not an intentional deception, but at the moment, the academy here, our minimum age is 10, although we do have a few very mature 9-year-olds that we found capable. But our individual teams, our individual squadron leaders out there in the U.S. and in Asia, they decide what is appropriate for their team. So we don't control that too tightly. But over here at the academy in California, 10 years old is our general minimum.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't trying to catch you. I was thinking, again, as a parent myself, because, as you've probably heard, when you think of something like, basketball, not too bad, baseball, not too bad, but when you think football or another more physical sport, there's a lot of danger in that. And we may not want our kids to, break an arm or something when you're playing football. But it's lightsabers, it's fencing. Yeah, there's a little bit of danger, but not where, they can break an arm or something. So that's what I was thinking, is like, maybe my 4-year-old, my 5-year-old, maybe they might want to join a team sport that doesn't get them hurt. That's what I was thinking. Then it's like, honestly, I got a little excited. I'm sure the parents got excited too when they heard no limit to the age, but there is 10. But how much does a membership cost for someone?
Over here at the Lightspeed Saber Academy, our membership starts at $155 per month to train once a week. And then we also happen to be in recruiting mode right now. So for a penny more, you can train twice a week here.
Okay. Do the members need to get their own equipment, or is that provided for them?
They can do either. When you become a member here, we provide you with equipment as long as it's available. And we do prioritize newer members, of course, but that usually allows everyone at least a few months to be able to use that stuff. And then if they want equipment, they can get it from us, or if they want to get it elsewhere, we know where to get it for the best prices. So,
yeah, I think that's probably the biggest question that everybody wants to ask. I can almost hear them asking is The sabers, are they like what they see or what they can order online or what they see at conventions, or are they a special type of saber?
That's a very good question. You can largely use most sabers that you can buy anywhere at conventions and online and such, but we do use a different blade type actually, and so we sell that here. So it's adaptable though. So if you have a saber that has a larger blade type, you can adapt it down to the correct size.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was thinking as you were saying that, if you get like the ones you get at Disneyland, I don't think you want to, scratch those up and break those. You just paid $400 for one of those. I don't think you want to scratch those up fencing with it. Even though that is kind of what they're for, but still, just saying. So the tournaments, are they open to the public, or is it just for Lightspeed Academy members?
That's another great question. Our tournaments are generally open to the public as long as you're basically, not a maniac. We do have fairly solid standards for how you are meant to attack, and to do that in a manner that is fast, so that you are successful, but also as gentle as possible for that situation. People get bruises and dings. That's kind of normal. But it's not supposed to be unpleasant, people shouldn't feel afraid. They shouldn't feel unsafe. And so it's open to the public as long as that public is conscientious and respectful of other people, and they're not out there to hurt anybody.
Is it open if you're not participating in it? Can you go and watch, or is that just for friends and family?
Yeah, you absolutely can come watch. We have a set of chairs up in the front at our academy, for example, and we're premiering a really thrilling spectator event this year. Actually, we've premiered it already, but we're really pushing it this year. It's a team event called Control Point. It's a non-stop fencing format that is team-based, so you have to tag people in and out. We designed this to be watchable. We designed this to be really fun and exciting to watch. Unlike traditional fencing, the fight doesn't stop between points. It just keeps on going. The only difference is you trade it in and out your fencers as they get hit, so they don't keep wailing on each other either. So there's some control over the match, but the match does not stop. So yeah, we love spectators. Again, I've thought about a long time about how to make trad fencing more watchable for spectators, and again, lightsabers were the answer to that question. So yeah, we love spectators, and we invite anyone to come down and check us out.
When I know you said you're in recruiting mode, but when is the next one? The next tournament?
The next tournament is February 21st, and this is a basic individual tournament. And if I may, I'd like to promote our March 28th Control Point tournament, which will be a 4-on-4 competition. So we're expecting to have maybe 5 or 6 teams, and we're definitely going to be pushing for people to come and watch that.
And both of those will be at the academy?
Yes. And if I may say, June 21st, June 20th will be our national Control Point tournament. So that may be here at the academy, but it may also end up being at a larger location if we can find one. So we're really pushing for people to come and watch that.
TBD, we will say. Like I said, we met you guys actually at WonderCon last year. So are you planning to be there again this year if people want to check you guys out?
You know what? I'm not in charge of that, actually. Our event director is in charge of that. So I'd have to ask him. If he's not on it, then it doesn't happen. That's how important our people are. But I definitely hope to be. And I definitely hope that we can do some kind of demonstration or something like that, as opposed to just boothing it last year. But you know what? We got to meet y'all. So we definitely got something out of it. So yeah, a booth will be fun too.
Yeah, and even if you don't get to be at WonderCon this year, where can everybody find out more? Your website, social media, give them all of that too.
Yeah, if people are in Southern California and you'd like to check out our sports headquarters, it's at lightspeedsaberacademy.com, and you'll also find us on socials as well under Lightspeed Saber Academy, TikTok and Instagram. And if you'd like to learn more about our sport at large, which has 10 teams in the United States and 6 in Malaysia, a few more developing in Canada and Brazil as well, then you can head over to lightspeedsaber.com. So you can learn about our league, you can learn techniques there, and you can even order an online certification program and learn to be a teacher.
Yeah, and I'll have everything linked up on the show description for everybody listening. So thanks, Cang. Thanks a lot for coming on. And I'm sure a few of our listeners are going to be heading down your way soon. And you're welcome back on the show anytime.
Thank you so much, Henry.
One more thing before we get out of here.
Sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and supernatural. Comic books, graphic novels, ebooks, and ongoing or new series. You'll hear them all right here on the Geek Speak Show Book Club.
If, like me, you're in Southern California, then you know that it's finally feeling, the weather is feeling more like winter over here. Here's a good book for you to stay inside and get lost in the world of The Night Side. That's my book for this week, Something from the Night Side by Simon R. Green. It follows John Taylor, who's a detective with a unique ability to find lost things. He takes on a case to find a missing teenage girl in an alternate world called The Night Side, which is a world populated with mythical creatures. The story's got elements of sci-fi, pulp, fantasy, and paranormal, and it's perfect to read on a night when it's cold outside and you can hear the wind hitting up against your window. Or is it the wind? Or is it something else? Yeah, that kind of story. Now, this book first came out in 2003, so it might not be available at bookstores anymore. You can find it for sure on Amazon. And by the way, it's a series now. So the series is 13 books in. You can find them all on Amazon or probably the newer ones in your bookstore. But this one is the first one, and you may have to go to Amazon to find this one. But once you start, you're going to want to read the rest of them. So, just have fun with this one. Might be your taste, might not be. I think it is. You can find it, as always, on the book club page on the Geek Speak Show website. That is Something from the Night Side by Simon R. Green. And that's it for this week. Now, you may have noticed that Emily wasn't with me this week. No, she hasn't left the show. She's just getting ready, doing prep, as we say, for next week. And so is Sean Clan. Next week is this month's Issues of the Day episode. And you will hear all of us. And by all of us, I mean all of us. Emily will be here, so will Sean Clan and me, of course, and the boys, Mark Pope and Trent Tucker from Geek Off the Street. So come back next week, and for sure, we'll definitely speak more geek. I'll talk to you then.
While you wait for the next episode, you can follow the show on Instagram @geeksy, at the Geek Speak Show on TikTok and Facebook. Subscribe to the show on YouTube at Geek Speak Videos. That's where you'll find all event coverage and the new Geek Speak video show. Henry, Emily, and Sean Clan will return in Avengers Doomsday. But until then, you can also hear them next week right here on the Geek Speak Show.